Well, ladies and gentlemen, what ends up happening when a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out is that people start digging and digging and digging, and eventually they end up finding out certain information that is very, very important to know when it comes to companies like Ubisoft. Well, apparently, Assassin's Creed Shadows hired an LGBTQ activist as a DEI consultant who wants to challenge moral standards around transgenerational sex. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we got good old DEI consulting at it again.
I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something may okay, but it was really a microaggression.
Now, you're probably asking yourself, what the hell does a game based in feudal Japan need an LGBTQ activist as a consultant on that game? Well, honestly, I have no idea. It's Ubisoft at the end of the day. You know what I mean? They went with the easiest, simplest character or person that they could possibly find in order to run an entire story based off of it. They went with Yasuke when they could have went with anybody else. They could have represented feudal Japan better, but let's be real. They're not trying to represent Japan. This is not about being authentic to Japan or trying to get a genuine Japanese story out there. This is about their personal representation. This is about the kind of representation that matters to most. This is the obsession that they have with the black skin color. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Ubisoft hired LGBTQ activist Sachi Schmidt-Hori as a consultant for Assassin's Creed Shadows. As revealed in an inside look at the creation of the game given to IGN, Sachi comments on the game alongside associate narrative director Brooke Davies. IGN details that Schmidt-Hori is working with Ubisoft on Assassin's Creed Shadows, but does not provide any further details as to what her involvement is. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you were to ask them any questions regarding their involvement, they would make it seem like they do absolutely nothing. That's the most amazing thing about these consultancy groups. What they end up doing is, if the game is a massive success, then they're going to take credit for it, and then they'll say what they did. But if the game's a massive failure, then they'll say, well, we don't really do anything. We don't have the final say. We don't have the power. We don't have this. We don't have that. Then they suddenly don't want to claim it. And there's a lot more failures than there is successes. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we are. She does specifically comment on how Naoi follows in the tradition of previous Japanese stories, saying that fighting beautiful women is a recurrent figure in Japanese literary creations. The sun goddess Amaterasu, she can turn into a ferocious fighter. And also the tale of the Heike features Tome, who is a female warrior, and she is described as a beautiful woman who is as strong as 1,000 male samurai. Now, obviously, I highly doubt that, but still, this is where we are. Naoi, is kind of following the footsteps of her, she added. As for Yasuke, Schmidt said that Yasuke has been featured in many creative writings and media so far. There's like a long, long list of novels, TV series, dramas that have been inspired by him. Yeah, I think people in Japan are really, really embracing him as a character, and we really like to, see him representing the samurai spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, clearly Japanese people are super excited to see Yasuke representing them when everybody else had a person that was based in the country of origin of which the game took place represent them. But no, not Japan. With Japan, you got to have a foreigner. You got to have a gaijin take it over and do it for them. Well, apparently they're not very happy, ladies and gentlemen, because you could see it here in this screenshot that I have where it showcases Japanese people essentially roasting this game. Look at the first comment here. A game where black people massacre Japanese people in the Sengoku period is a perfect example of UBI. If this is what happens when political correctness is taken to the extreme. I wanted Yasuke to appear as an ally. Are they mocking Japan? They should have made someone like Sazo as an assassin. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't exactly say that they are very happy in Japan to showcase Yasuke as the main character who's going to represent the samurai spirit as they try to make it seem. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the people who are in charge of your game. When women are in charge like this, especially woke white leftists, they are just going to ruin any kind of story, any kind of fandom, any kind of anything, because they really don't do things from a genuine place. They saw an opportunity to put a black male lead into a game that they wanted to put one in, and they did it. That's basically it. They took the opportunity that they had, and now they can claim historical accuracy, even in the slightest form, because they're using a real person, which was Yasuke. Then it says, outside of her work with Ubisoft on Assassin's Creed Shadows, Schmidt is an associate professor at Dartmouth in the university's art and science departments. I'm not surprised that people like this are tied to universities, because let's be real, man, these universities are absolutely indoctrinating people left and right. They're indoctrination camps. If you want your kid to come out trans, go send them to a university. I guarantee you most of them will come out as some form of LGBTQ right after college, and then eventually give it up a few years later. Her biography on the Dartmouth website confirms that she is an activist. I am interested in investigating how gender, sexuality, corporeality, and power are represented and negotiated in pre-17th century Japanese narratives and illustrations. My first book, Tales of Idolized Boys, Male Love in Medieval Japanese Narratives, University of Hawaii Press 2021, is on medieval Chigo Monogatari Buddhist acolyte tales, which often depict romantic relationships between Buddhist priests and adolescent boys. These tales challenge a host of normative and moral standards we academics especially internalize, including such ideas as sexual orientation, transgenerational sex, and sexual agency. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what the fuck any of this has to do with Assassin's Creed Shadows is beyond me. Why would you go and look for this person for a consultancy on a game based in feudal Japan? I have absolutely no idea. What the sexuality of Buddhist priests have to do with Assassin's Creed Shadows, I have no idea. Again, we have a prime example of what happens when you are hiring people who their entire job is to try to find problems. That is what a consultancy group does in the gaming industry. They try to find problems so that they can then provide a solution, and that way it justifies the cost of their service. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no problem. You don't need these consultancy groups. They're only going to make shit up so that you can keep paying them. And then, in the same breath, their supporters will call us grifters because we are calling out this nonsense. Meanwhile, nobody calls them grifters by making up bullshit just so they can keep getting paid for consultancy. We know that they don't give anything to these development cycles. If anything, it just ruins the fucking development cycle. It continues, my current project is on a literary representations of milk kinships in pre-17 Japanese tales, including the tale of Ochikubo and tale of Genji, the tales of Heike. Of note, the official description from the publisher of Tales of Idolized Boys, Male Love in Medieval Japan Narratives, University of Hawaii Press reveals Schmidt calls for a shift in the heteronormative strategies applied to Chigo and Chigo Monogatari, and puts forth both a nuanced historicization of social constructs such as gender, blah, 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 blah. So essentially, they are following the same exact bullshit that every other person in universities do. You know what I mean? Like, it's no different here in the United States. The UK is no different. They're all pushing the same exact nonsense because they're trying to farm, some sort of victim creation. They want to create victims. They want to create people who are going to be perpetual victims for the rest of their life, get them down the LGBTQ route, knowing that the, mental illness aspect of it and the overall bad things that can happen from being a part of that community. Unfortunately, they are pushing you onto that more and more and more, because especially on the trans aspect, not so much on the being gay aspect, but more so the trans aspect. They know that it leads down a dark path for a lot of people, and they want you to continue doing this. That way they kind of put you into the system and you become a perpetual victim for life. So all of this, I have no idea what any of this has to do with Assassin's Creed Shadows, but at the end of the day, what I do know is that if somebody like this is consulting on a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows, I cannot have good faith that this game is probably going to be any good. Time will tell whether or not it's good or not, but I just see a lot of red flags, unfortunately, with this product. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.